Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. They're getting ready for winter, so you should be too, with Long Island's largest rock salt provider and a provider of all winter storm supplies that you'll need to get through this coming winter, including Omni Melt, Geomelt, Biomelt, Petalo calcium chloride pellets, mag ice pellets and flakes, spreaders, snow blowers, shovels, ice scrapers, you name it, they got it. Omni True Value Hardware, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. Telephone number 631-756-1125, omnitruevalue.com. This is going to be a Southern New England event, folks, and you can see what I'm doing here with regards to snow. Thinking maybe for areas outside of this zone that there might be a little bit of snow or sleet that mixes in as the storm winds down. But primarily, it's as you go northeast through northern Connecticut and on up into Massachusetts that you really start to get into the heavier snow amounts with maybe as much as 9 or 10 inches being indicated by the Weather Service in parts of central Massachusetts. Here is the Boston forecast of expected snowfall. This was updated at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So little or nothing in southwestern Connecticut, up to 4 or more inches in northeastern Connecticut, especially when you start going up Route 84 and heading up into Massachusetts. And you can see that 8 to 12 inch band that exists. And the big winner in all of this is going to be New Hampshire and Maine, where the areas, the northern half of New Hampshire and on up in through interior Maine are going to wind up with at least a foot plus. With lesser amounts, of course, as you head down to the coast. Even Boston may wind up seeing several inches out of this as the storm intensifies and moves away to the east. Now, temperatures going into this evening here are generally in the 40s to around 50. We're starting to see rain, and that's bringing the temperatures down bit by bit. But we don't really have any cold air around. So we then have to rely on the cold air that's going to be coming down with the northern stream feature that we've been talking about over the last couple of days. You've got two jet streams at work here. The southern jet is bringing out a rather substantial system that is moving to the east. The northern jet is coming down through the Great Lakes. Right now, they're unfazed. You can see that they're pretty much separate, but when they pivot around toward the mid-Atlantic coast, the north is going to phase in with the south, and this is where you're going to wind up seeing your storm strengthen. Late afternoon radar across our area, expanding area of rain. It's kind of a narrow band at the moment, but it is going to spread out a bit as we go through the overnight and into tomorrow morning. There's heavier rain down through West Virginia, Western North Carolina. And that northern stream feature is, as we said, I would be more concerned with regards to a changeover for areas from New York City south and west if we were dealing with cold air coming down from Canada and over the Great Lakes. This is not especially cold. If it were 10 or 15 degrees colder, I would be more concerned. But we've got temperatures in the low 30s this afternoon across the northern Great Lakes. You start to get into 20s and teens as you move up into Canada. If we were seeing temperatures up there below zero and temperatures in the teens around the Great Lakes, then yeah, I would be concerned. So for much of the area, it's a rain issue, and the rain actually cuts off fairly sharply once you go north and west of New Jersey and on up into the Catskills and Poconos and points westward. The blue line, the dark blue line, is a half an inch of liquid, and you see how sharply it cuts off from there to the northwest. But meanwhile, in the purple and in the darker reds, you're seeing anywhere from an inch and a half to maybe 2.5 inches. Eastern half of Long Island gets into that inch and a half zone, and that melted precip amount of an inch and a half to 2.5 inches is rather impressive as it moves up the coast into Maine. So in areas where cold air gets involved with all that liquid moisture, you are going to wind up with some heavy snow. So we're going to take you through the latest run of the NAM model for the overnight, the expanding area of rain, low pressure in western North Carolina over Chesapeake Bay early tomorrow morning. And then once it's off the Delaware coast, that low starts to strengthen. You start to see this expanding area of snow again in New England. Uh, Outside chance we could see some flakes mixing in as the low goes by. It's going to get windy, especially on Long Island, where we probably will see some gusts over 40 miles an hour after the low passes. Weather conditions should start to improve tomorrow morning. The rains will come to an end in eastern Pennsylvania and then gradually through the morning in New Jersey, but it may take until middle or late afternoon for the rain to get out of the way on Long Island. And then, of course, it moves on up north from there. Sunday, a better day, but it's going to be a cold day with a gusty wind and some sunshine. Temperatures probably not much above the upper 30s and low 40s. It looks dry with high clouds for Monday. There's another storm system that's coming across Florida and off the Carolinas. This may actually wind up producing a little snow back in parts of southern Virginia, western North Carolina come Monday as an upper low goes by. But that low's going out to the east because the first storm, you can look on the upper right, you can still see a little bit of the leftover first storm there. So there's no real room for this system to move up the coast. The path of least resistance is going to be on to the northeast. So if you're traveling up into southern New England or points northward, just be advised that Saturday it's going to get a little tricky, especially if you're heading up further north into Massachusetts and on up into parts of New Hampshire and Maine. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, 631-756-1125. The 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, just north of the Southern State Parkway, for all your winter storm supplies. We'll see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:30 Eastern Time.